Transitioning from PowerPoint to video means handling things such as bullet points differently. I'll demonstrate how I use the tools inside Studio to apply motions to lines of text and time them to the audio track. Now what I can do is set the transitions or the motions. So I'm going to go to motions, and I want them to enter, of course. And I'm going to... the King James. Sometimes it's just version playing. So I'm going to do a page fade. Now, over the years, I've determined the speed at which I want these to come in. My average speaking speed I'm aware of. And I know that the duration of this to come in to match my speech at a speed that is going to make sense, look good visually, and be there when it needs to be there. So I adjust the duration of the transition coming in by sliding these around. I usually go with the 3 little dots there. It's probably really hard to see on this, but now if I was going with something shorter or longer, I would stretch it out. And now I need to match that timing with everything else because I want the timings to be consistent. Trying to drag these and match these gets a little tedious. So what I do is I pull my playhead back and put the bar right at the edge of the pill. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then use that as an alignment tool to place each of these right where I want it. And some of them might not look like they're exactly... You can get as fussy with this as you want. The difference there would be frames. It wouldn't be big. So this is a duration that's a little slower than what I usually use, but the default value there for that it's set was pretty close to what I normally work with. So now at this point, all I have to do is time this for each of those points to come in exactly where I want it. And the way I do that is I just simply start playing it, and I'm reading the script at the same time. But is the King James Version reliable? When the King James Version is compared to source manuscripts, so my first point's going to come up about right here. The accuracy of the rendering is over 98%. Now you can see something happening here. It blanked out, text went away, now it's back, and this doesn't seem like it's coming in. If I just want to go ahead and set the timings, I'm reading and listening. I don't need the visual right now. The title box might crash. Studio might crash. This is one of the points where that's going to happen. But if I want to go on, I can just continue to listen and drag these over and then check it here in a minute. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. You see the render bar up there. This is the fun stuff. I'm going to go ahead and hit the title. I want to put my playhead right there. I know I was at that point. Accuracy of the rendering is over 98%. Although not... Okay. Rendering is over 98%. All right, so I'm going to bring my next point up here. And these are coming in slower because I've got them set longer to demonstrate that. Although not translated from the oldest manuscripts, some of which had not been discovered at the time, the King James Version differs only slightly in some areas, and none of these are doctrinal concerns. When it comes to reliability, the King James Version is one of the most accurate word-for-word or formal equivalence translations available. And my final point. There, and again, these are transitioning in slower. Normally, I would have set them a little bit. So if the King James translation is accurate, then what's the real? And again, the display there blanked out, so I only saw the bottom line. I know that they're in. So to check these timings and make sure that they're where I want them, I'm going to go to a full screen and just hit play. When the King James Version is compared to source manuscripts, the accuracy of the rendering is over 98%. Although not translated from the oldest manuscripts, some of which had not been discovered at the time, the King James Version differs only slightly in some areas, and none of these are doctrinal concerns. When it comes to reliability, the King James Version is one of the most accurate word-for-word or formal equivalence translations available. So if the King James translation is accurate, then what's the real problem with it? So that's pretty good. I'm on track with the timing on that, so I have that coming in. So this is the basic setup for the titles and the text inside each one of the titles. Adding a list in Studio isn't a problem since all the text formatting and functions apply and transitions work in the same way. In this video, I'll show how I set up basic lists, apply emotion, and time it to the audio.